Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the NBA Front Office Show. We've got a ton of news to talk about today. The Mavs finally make their move. Nico Harrison fired. What does this mean for the organization moving forward? We'll get into that. Plus, Joel Embiid dealing with an injury. Darius Garland. We'll talk about the future contract for Ausin Reaves, Mitchell Robinson, all kinds of stuff for us to get into. I'm Trevor Lane, joined by Keith Smith. Keith, before we get into everything, though, big thank you to everybody who reached out to us. Last night, Keith and I got to do the play-by-play and the breakdown for the Hawks-Clippers game over on NBA League Pass. The first game that we've done for the NBA, we will do. I think we're booked for at least one more coming up here. So We're excited to be doing these and appreciate all the well wishes that we got.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all the support from everyone was cool. It was funny because I think the folks at the NBA got a little bit of a taste of our audience, which was fun too. But what a great game that was! We'll forever have done the Vit Krejci game where he just went bonkers for 28 points, hit eight 3-pointers. I mean, he was just absolutely playing out of his mind. It was a lot of fun. It's the support of y'all too, watching this channel and getting the word out there that helps us get these opportunities. So we can't thank you guys enough also.
Absolutely. That was a complete blast to do, and thank you to all of you who tuned in and everybody who's reached out. We appreciate it.
People liked when I showed off the card. Look at this one. I got a game-worn jersey, Colin Murray Boyle's card.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's kind of fun, right?
That's a good one. Yeah. Especially, I mean, he's gonna be good. That's one you probably want to hang on to.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to get it put in a sleeve. I'm sure somebody's gonna be absolutely panicked that it isn't yet. It will. I'm working on it.
All right, let's get into our news for the day. And the news that Keith, there were a lot of Mavs fans on pins and needles think it was going to happen last night. Yeah. Another tough Mavs loss, this time to the Milwaukee Bucks in crunch time. Keith, that game, it's like you could feel the crowd in Dallas like begging the team to please just find a way to win this game. Giannis Antetokounmpo was not to be denied, though, and the Bucks ultimately get the win. The Fire Nico chants raining down. Patrick Dumont sitting, a team owner sitting courtside, a fan next to him chatting him up, wearing a Lakers Luka Doncic jersey, and then Nico in the stands as the chance to fire him are raining down. Looked stoic, sullen. And this morning, the news breaks from Shams Charania that indeed the Dallas Mavericks have parted ways with Nico Harrison. Keith, this is the path that we were set upon 9 months ago with that insane breaking news that we got that Luka Doncic was being traded to the Lakers. And I guess, if anything, the question is why it took so long to get here, because it seemed inevitable once it happened that this was where we were going to end up.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think you can't make a trade that big and survive it unless everything goes right for you on the backside of it. And it just has not for Dallas. Anthony Davis, he's quite frankly been Anthony Davis. He's been great when he's played, but he hasn't played a whole lot because he's had a bunch of injuries and he's missed a lot of time. The other stuff Max Christie is starting. Max Christie's a nice player, but that's nowhere near enough for Luka Doncic. And Patrick Dumont said in a statement that he takes ownership of what happened in the Luka trade, and that
he didn't say Luka Doncic in that statement.
Yeah, it didn't, but he did basically say you got to take accountability. Right. Now Nico Harrison is gone. Michael Finley and I believe it was Matt Ricciardi are going to fill in as the co-general managers in the interim. No sense that either one will be the guy long-term. It sounds like they're going to go get somebody. Here's the good thing. Whoever they hire now doesn't have any ties to that trade.
Exactly.
Right? They can come in and say, what's done has been done. They can't go undo it. I don't think the Lakers would under any circumstances. I don't even know if the Lakers would do it if it was Cooper Flag.
No trade backs.
Yeah, that's it. It is done. Luka is a Laker for as far as this is concerned, forever. So I think we're in a spot where whoever comes in now, if they want to trade Anthony Davis, as long as ownership doesn't kind of handcuff them, they should be in a position to say, hey, I didn't make that trade. I'm very fond of saying you can't put spilled milk back in the bottle. right? It's once it's spilled, it's done. The best you can do is clean up and move forward. So clean up, go to the store, get some new milk, and keep things moving. Just get, and if they think the right thing is trade Anthony Davis, I'm not saying you could have a fire sale, everything must go. But if the right offers are there, other than Cooper Flag, no one would be untouchable on this roster.
The Mavs right now are 3-8. They're sitting near the bottom, not at the bottom, but near the bottom of the Western Conference. Do you believe we're already there to the point where the Mavs they do have their pick this year, should the Mavs already be looking at the possibility here of tanking, or is it too early for the new GMs coming into power to be making that type of decision?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to try to give this team a look with Anthony Davis on the floor for at least probably 2 or 3 weeks. And realistically, we're a month from what we like to call early trade season. December 15th is when the vast majority of players who signed as free agents over the summer can be moved. Each of the last 5 or 6 years, we have had a December trade almost when trade season is opened up. So we may see something happen there where, some kind of deal gets done and they move. So I think they've got a little bit of the cover of, we've got a month before we're even into trade season. So let's just see what it looks like. Sounds like Anthony Davis is close. Sounds like that's a whole other issue with the Mavs of, Dumont stepped in, is like, look, if he's not ready, he doesn't play. It's, we're not going to push him back early for anything. Yeah. But I think what we're seeing happen is, I think the Mavericks are kind of owning, all right, this may not be our year, right? Teams, we said Utah was the only team we felt pretty good, wasn't going to make the playoffs in the West. Everybody else were like, yeah, you can kind of see a path where that happens. I think now you can look at it and say, all right, hey, if we pivot early, we might be able to really bottom this thing out. And then you're looking at Cooper Flag and another really high draft pick in what is a loaded draft class. That's how you really kick off a rebuild. And that takes on a bit more importance to get that good pick, because they don't have any picks after that moving forward. I mean, they do, but most of their picks are tied up in other obligations.
Well, and if that's the path you want to go down, you get what you can for Anthony Davis. And I don't know, maybe that could be, what kind of draft capital that could look like or whatever. And then do you tell Kyrie, hey, maybe don't push so hard to come back fast. Maybe don't worry. And then because what you don't want to do, because you don't have your future draft capital after this year, what you don't want to do is, okay, we're going to embark upon a multi-year rebuild, and then you don't have your picks. What you want to do is, if you're going to try to tear this thing down, it should be a quick down and back up around Cooper Flag, Kyrie Irving, mystery player X that they get in this year's draft class, and they should look to start winning next season. I don't think they're quite there yet, ready to make that call. But if they're, we're 11 games in, if we're 22 games in and they're 6-16, okay. All right. Now we're looking at, hey, you're so far back in the West. Are you realistically even going to make the play-in a tough West? Probably not. Let's do the prudent thing and reverse course here and just play the cards that we've been dealt. It is what it is. This team was put together. Nico said it himself. This team was put together to win right now.
Yep.
That if that's not possible, then you've got to adapt to the changing environment where it's a different world than it was 30 seconds ago. It's a different world than it was 9 months ago. And the Mavs are going to have to play the hand that's in front of them right now.
Yeah, I think you have to look at it and say, do we want Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving and a host of good role players? Some of them get injured a lot. A guy like Derek Lively has missed a lot of time thus far in his career. And Cooper Flag, would we rather be Cooper Flag and Darren Peterson, Cooper Flag and AJ DeBonte, man, the Massachusetts came out there. Cooper Flag and Cam Boozer. Where do you want to go with this? Would you rather be there? And yes, there's no guarantee that if you tank, you're going to get that high pick. Just talk to the Washington Wizards, right? They fell way back in the draft last year, but it's still puts you in range. You can only fall so far. And I think you're absolutely right. I think in a month when trade season is really kind of opening up, they'll have a real good sense of, all right, we could probably push really, really hard and maybe get to the play-in tournament, because it looks like the bottom half of the West is not really going to run away. So we can push really hard, or we can get in front of this a little bit and start moving some of these guys.
Who are the guys aside from Anthony Davis that would be moved on this Mavs roster? I would assume Klay Thompson would be one of those guys that would be very much available. Anybody else that you look at and say this is a guy they should definitely move on? Like, is it Daniel Gafford? Where do you go?
Yeah, Gafford's one I would consider, especially if you're going to keep Lively. They can't play together. So that starts to become our what do we want to do kind of long term at that position. I would, Flag is off the table. PJ Washington is off the table because he's trade restricted because he extended late in the year, so he can't be traded before the deadline. So he's not going anywhere. So I think what you start looking at is all right, anybody else? Let's at least have a conversation. Do I want to keep Max Christie, Najee Marshall, who are on nice contracts? Sure. Yeah, I'd rather keep those guys, but they're not going to be untouchable. And if some team is, hey, we'll actually do this deal and you feel pretty good about the return, but we need Max Christie in the deal, good luck, Max Christie, wherever you're headed next, because that would be the way I would approach that. And I would be talking with Kyrie and AD. Just, hey, what are you guys thinking? What do you want to do? Especially if it is we're pivoting here, and we're going to pivot to this being Cooper Flag's team. And if we're terrible, at least we can say, hey, we're terrible, but we have Cooper Flag. And then whoever we get in this upcoming draft, because it's just going to be weird because you may land there anyway. And then you're in a spot where now you have Flag in another high pick around this team that's got a bunch of guys in their mid 30s. And that feels a little off too. That's not really where you want to be.
Which is ironically, as we pivot here, kind of where the Philadelphia 76ers are right now, in that you've got some young talent and then a few guys that are in their 30s that are dealing with injuries. Any final thoughts on the Mavs before we, because I know this was the big topic of the day. Anything else that we missed?
No, I mean, there's just not a lot left to be said. I mean, we don't need to go over the Luka trade for what would be, our like 50th time together doing that. It was a stupid trade when it happened, and it shouldn't have happened. And, you're going to be reminded of it 3 or 4 times a year when you play the Lakers. And every time you turn on the TV and he's hitting, a 40-foot bomb to, send a game into overtime or win a game or whatever, it's going to be that way. But now you just got to move forward as best you can. And this is all part of it, right? This is the big part of let's start resetting things a little bit.
100%. All right. Let's get to Joel Embiid out with knee soreness. That's not good. Joel Embiid dealing with knee soreness now, has dealt with knee issues. Obviously, his availability has become a big issue. We've talked all about the contract. You've got the long-term deal for him in Philly. Keith, the 76ers over the course of the entire season so far have been a big surprise. They are now 6-4. There was a point where they were at the top of the Eastern Conference. They have slipped since then, but still the 76ers have been a positive overall on the season. They're still a plus 3.9 in point differential. But they need Joel Embiid and Paul George to come back and be healthy if they're going to, talent-wise, and we look at how much salary they're taking up, they need these guys to be available. So this is not a good development for a guy who, again, still has a lot of years under contract, and it's already looking like his best years may be far in the rear view here.
Yeah, absolutely. And what stinks is this was not like something. I don't think this happened the last time he played. I believe he played in their win over the Raptors, if I have that correct. Let me just double check. Yeah, he played 26 minutes in that game. That's probably the best he's looked this year. 29 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 10 of 16. Looked like he was moving better. Then did not play in their game against the Pistons on, I believe that was Sunday. Then now he's out and not going to play tonight as they play the Celtics for the third time already, which, come on. Like, I get the NBA Cup gets things a little weird with that, but we got to do better. Like, we should not be finishing division series or even close before we've even hit mid-November.
Yeah, who was it that they did that with the Lakers last year too, where they played somebody? I'm trying to remember who it was, but they played somebody like 3 times in the first week or not week, first couple of weeks. They played some, maybe it was the Wolves or something, or the Warriors. Anyway, there have been some quirks like that in the schedule lately,
and it's gonna happen with the NBA Cup. And like, I know a lot of people are like, "What is the deal?" Like, Thursday has so few games. This past Thursday only had 1 game. on, and I think this Thursday there's only like 3. And again, they don't want teams on back-to-backs going into that first cup, the cup game. If they're on a back-to-back on the second one, they're going to let them manage that, but they want teams healthy. But to get back to Embiid, we're dealing with this already after being very heavily managed through the first 10 games of the season. Only 6 games played. They've done very well to keep his minutes low. Look, 23.3 minutes. That's the lowest he'll have ever played. He played more than that in his debut season. So it is just, I don't know. This just, none of this feels good. It all feels, worrisome and bad that we couldn't even get there with this. And now we're in a spot where it is, all right, we're just got to kind of, move forward and see. And they said he's going to meet with doctors, and then they're going to come out with, whatever it is they come out with as far as a plan on how to manage this and whatever the injury is. It's just this is not good for Philadelphia.
Not
or
good.
Embiid, obviously.
No, right. Yeah. Or Embiid. Just to read, I feel like I'm like sticking at the Sixers fans every time we show their cap sheet, but I mean, there it is. 3 more years after this year under contract for Joel Embiid. When he's healthy, he is still very good, but $67 million player option on the final year of this deal. And then you look at Paul George as well, 2 more years under contract with the player option after this one. That's tough. That could be the anchor kind of holding this team down as they look to pivot around Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Jared McCain, some of this young talent that they've added.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the news continues to sound like Paul George is getting close, but feels like we're in like day 20 of Paul George is getting close. Like I don't really know what to make of that either. So we'll see. But I think there's a world where Paul George can be really healthy. But I think Philadelphia's done a good job of kind of sending the message, hey, this is Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe's team, and Grimes and Oubre have been terrific in there with those 2 guys. Jared McCain's a fun young player trying to Watford, got a triple-double the other night, played really well for Philly. So, I think they're doing a good job setting themselves up to pivot. But the problem is, without any kind of trade for Embiid or George, you're going to have a hard time pivoting too far because you're just always going to have that, 100 million plus sitting on your books for those 2 guys.
All right, let's jump over to another injury concern and another one that is similar to one that they already had. That Darius Garland with a toe injury. Remember, he missed time at the beginning of the season, recovering from a toe from turf foot on his left foot. It's not immediate. I'm looking at the ESPN report. Not immediately clear if it's an aggravation of the same injury that forced him to have surgery in June or not. Hopefully, it's not. I mean, either way, it's not good. But we know turf toe can be. Did I say turf foot?
I think you did, but
I combined. I went like World War I. I went trench foot. And,
it was like oh no,
turf his whole foot now. Turf toe.
Pretty soon it'll be like the Civil War where you come in and they shot you in the elbow and they got to cut your leg off for some reason. It's just, cut his leg off.
Bite the bullet. Bite the bullet. Oh, man. Awful. Keith, we should not be. It's Veterans Day. We shouldn't be making.
True. Good point. Hey, on that, let's pause here. Happy Veterans Day to everyone out there. And, whether you're currently serving or you have served, we appreciate everything you do. So we can do this and be stupid on the internet. It's you doing what you do keeps us safe. My dad's a veteran, so always I'm going to call him a little bit later when I head out to pick up from soccer practice. So I will give him a call. But it means so much. Everything that veterans do, and I know there's a lot of times for veterans things can be hard, and there's certain things they can only talk about with other veterans. And if you're going through it, reach out, right? Reach out to, there's a lot of support out there. And I know it can be really hard and guys go through a lot. So, and girls too, obviously, but just reach out and, get the help you need if you're going through a tough time right now.
100%. Absolutely. Well said, Keith. Now, I do want to note, just as the, former history teacher, that Veterans Day, as I mentioned, inadvertently, didn't mean to reference this, but World War I, Veterans Day was originally created in order to celebrate the conclusion of World War One. That's why it's November 11th, the 11th day, the 11th month, and the 11th hour. World War One came to a conclusion, and it was originally called Armistice Day. To again celebrate the end of World War One, and then later on it was changed to Veterans Day to celebrate veterans of all wars. So first it was for celebrating the end of World War One, then it got changed to becoming a federal holiday honoring First World War One veterans, and then honoring all those who served. And I'm just looking right now; it was in 1954 that it got changed into the modern version of Veterans Day, which is honoring veterans across services and not just in World War One.
Which would make sense roughly 10 years after World War II, that they made that change. So, yeah. Again, thanks to everybody. Going back to Darius Garland, I'm nervous because if this is any kind of re-aggravation, that's going to cost him time. I didn't want to overload the show with a whole bunch of injuries, but like Jalen Green re-injured his hamstring. He's going to be out weeks now. Probably,
that was
if not,
to see.
A month or so. Yeah,
and he made James Harden look like he was planted in the ground on that move too. Like just flew right past him, and then immediately as he goes over the sideline, grabs at that hamstring.
Yep,
that was it was tough to see because he knew immediately he redid it, and that it's hamstrings, man. You just never know.
Just brutal, and there was no sense that he rushed back or anything. It just. It went and he's out. But with Garland, the Cavs do have depth at that guard position. Donovan Mitchell's played on the ball a lot more this year. He really was kind of the starting point guard when they were there. They run a lot through Evan Mobley now as well. Lonzo Ball is there. Craig Porter Jr. has played well in his minutes. So the Cavs will be okay. And for them, it's far more important get Garland right. But this is just another one of those. We're in mid-November. You just came back and you're already back out again. These things are starting to get nervous, and some of this with Garland is we're starting to build kind of a history of missing a lot of time, and that's always worrisome. Now his stuff it's been a lot of weird injuries. He had the broken jaw from running into a screen. It's things that happen versus things that the player's doing. But it's rough. But we're hopeful he'll get back and be ready to go, and the Cavs will continue on. They're playing pretty good basketball right now.
Yes, sir. All right, let's jump over to my Lakers. Ausin Reaves, no surprise, he has told everybody who will listen for as long as I can remember that he doesn't want to leave the Lakers. He wants to stay with the Lakers, but his focus is on staying with the Lakers in free agency. He said that he's not focused on getting some. I'm paraphrasing the quote from Dave McMenamin's piece, but some effing big contract or some big number or something to that effect.
Gigantic.
He threw in he definitely threw in the F-bomb.
Oh yeah,
which is par for the course. But they and then there's a little golf reference there too. Austin would have liked that, but he's focused on staying with the Lakers. Wants to sign a new deal with them. Detailing that he didn't decline the extension with the Lakers over the summer in an attempt to leave the Lakers. He just wants to get paid his worth. He's already been on a below market value contract for the last 3 seasons and wants to get something more reflective of his actual value this coming summer.
Yeah, and this is just going to get done. I continue to say, but this is one of the first deals we hear about. When free agency opens at 6 p.m. Eastern on June 30th. It'll be, Ausin Reaves and the Lakers have agreed to some 4-year. It'll be a pretty big number. Probably, I'm going to guess the way he's been playing, it's going to be well north of 30 to 35 million. And my when I wrote about him and said, hey, maybe the Lakers could, front load this and get it. I don't think that's going to happen either. I think Ausin Reaves is starting to play all those kind of things. I don't know it's going to be a max, but I think it's going to be pretty close. I think we're going to be well up there. And I think I loved, he told our students at Sports Business Classroom, he told a story about how he had to explain to his grandmother why he turned down $100 million. And he was like, because I know I can get more. And she's like, that's $100 million. What's wrong with you? Which is just, I love things like that, where it's like, come on, it's like, and I mean, we've seen it go sideways, but instead of going sideways for Reaves, it's just gone upways.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been unbelievable this season. So it's and he's proven to be a really good fit with Luka too. Yeah, you're gonna have some defensive issues, but it's nothing you can't solve for. I don't think. We'll see if that becomes a bigger issue in the playoffs. But for now, regular season, it's perfectly fine. And part of the way you'll solve for it is you'll score a whole lot of points on the other end of the floor.
Yeah, he's averaging 31-9 right now. I just did a video moments ago. I was publishing it as you and I started this, but for Lakers Nation, kind of breaking down what it looks like so far, because that's something that we're going to be keeping an eye on throughout the season. It's the Luka and Austin combo. There are some very vocal fans who will tell you that Luka and Austin can never, ever, ever work, and you must split them up. and then there's others that will tell you work great. I'm more in the let's wait and see mode, and that's where I've been for all summer. But right now, they're a plus 13.6 when they're on the court together. Now, they haven't been on the court together much because both have dealt with injuries so far in the season. But plus 13.6, they're in the 100th percentile offensively, 31st percentile on defense. There are some concerns there, but the Lakers as a team defensively have not been super good. But plus 13.6 still in net rating is pretty fantastic. Small sample size. I don't expect it to be there at the end of the year, but so far so good for seeing if that pairing can really be a thing moving into a post LeBron future whenever that occurs.
And sometime in the next weekish, 2 weeks, we're gonna get LeBron James. Fun that he's gonna do the rehab assignment with South Bay. And I want to say it was Harrison Fagan said I didn't have LeBron going to South Bay before Bronny this season on my bingo card, which is pretty funny.
That sounds like a Harrison comment for sure.
So I thought that was pretty good. So, but yeah, I mean, LeBron sounds like we're getting close. Like we're down the home stretch here on this for probably sometime within the next week or two with him, and we'll be able to. Like we said, anytime you're redoing things like that, it's gonna be a little bit bumpy, but these guys are also good. They're gonna figure it out. It'll be fine.
All right, let's go here. Mitchell Robinson with the Knicks likely to hit free agency. So let's take a look at their cap situation with him. I know for the Knicks, they get into a bit of a financial crunch here. When we go down, we take a look at kind of where they're at already going into next year, even with some of these guys that are out, Gershon Yabusele, he's got a player option, but you've got Landry Shamet, Jordan Clarkson, Mitch Robinson. Even with that, you're 3.5 million below that first apron. Yeah, you're getting pretty close there already. So it could be a bit of a crunch there for Mitch Rob, and would like to see him stay with the Knicks. He's been such an important piece for that team for years now, but I mean, it could ultimately be a luxury that the Knicks can't afford, depending on what other flexibility they want on their roster.
Yeah, this came from me and Begley over the weekend. Does a great job covering the Knicks and the Nets, really all New York basketball. But he was saying that they never really got anywhere close. Like I think he said, not substantive extension talks between Robinson and the Knicks this offseason. So now he'll be eligible all the way through June 30th because he's on an expiring contract. So maybe if the Knicks are rolling and like it's great and he stayed healthy, maybe something gets done there. But he's an important player for them, an important player for their defense. If people haven't been watching the Knicks, Josh Hart has gone back to the 6-man role, and Mitchell Robinson is starting on the nights he plays. But again, they're managing him, right? They're not going to play him on back-to-backs. They're not playing him a ton of minutes, any more minutes. For all the guys have come down under Mike Brown. But that was a big part of the goal. And I think for them, it's, hey, yeah, this guy's being really, really good. But like you said, I mean, I think they're only at 16 million under the second apron, and that's without Robinson in the mix for next season. He's going to get somewhere in the range of 20 at a minimum, I would imagine, if not higher. And that means you're looking at being in a second apron team. And just in case anybody's wondering, yeah, you can go over the second apron and re-sign your own guys. That's not it's going to be how you get there, right? You're not going to do it by signing somebody else because there's all these mechanisms that make it so you can't. But to re-sign and keep your own guys, you can do that. So this is going to be where the Knicks are going to have some real conversations about, all right, where do we go? And I think this will also be, how did our season go, right? Did we get it done in the playoffs? Were we good? Did we did we go that next step and go to the NBA Finals? Where did we go? Because that was the big thing. And we talked about it when you fired Tibbs. You're basically saying it wasn't good enough. Well, the only thing then that is going to be good enough is getting to the NBA Finals. And that's a tall task for any team.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not going to be easy. And of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers will say, we're going to be standing in your way. The Detroit Pistons have been
Yeah.
obviously making some real noise in these. Like it's not like the path is clear for the Knicks to just cruise right into the finals. So it's going to be a challenge. But you're right. If they ultimately have team success, there will be that pressure to keep the team. Just like we talked about with your Celtics, Keith, had they won back to back, they're not blowing up the team. They're just, dealing with the pain of being a second apron team, and they're keeping it all together. If you're successful, your team that will buy stability as well. So, will be something to watch. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say too, with Detroit, just because we don't talk them too often here, they're playing great. And I've talked to Pistons people who openly believe if they had had Isaiah Stewart in the that first round series against the Knicks, they would have beaten them. They 100% believe that's what we're missing, and they they just keep winning games, and every day another starter, key reserve player goes out for them, and they just kind of keep moving forward. Yesterday, it was an overtime win. Dennis Jenkins, two-way guy, had a big night for them and helped propel them. So they're very much of adopted. Hey, I think that's JB Bickerstaff, right? No one cares. No one feels bad for you. Get out there. Next man up. They're not going to reschedule our games. Just keep going out there and doing your thing. And Cade Cunningham just been absolutely incredible this year.
He's been fantastic. I saw who was it? Somebody, I misremember who it was, but it said that Cade Cunningham is the second best player in the East behind Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, it was on the Hoop Collective, I think.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if it was Windy or if it was. I don't remember which one of them it was, but
yeah, anyway, they had a big debate.
But it was a great point about and that's not. I don't want to get into is he or isn't he. The point is he is in that conversation, and that just speaks to how well he's been playing.
Yeah, he's been great. And some people still, have issues with the efficiency, and he's not always the most efficient player, but he really is been playing really well. And what I like is he seems to get better as the game goes along. Get into the fourth quarter, and he seems to, just level up even more.
Absolutely. Pistons fans are excited right now. I've got a good buddy who's a big Pistons fan, and he's all fired up. We should check in with our pal Bryce too and see how he's doing. Yeah. He covers the Pistons. He's got to be
covers them, but he's very clear. He's not a Pistons.
He's not a Pistons fan, but
he has a good pulse for the fan base. Pistons Pulse podcast. So there we go. Well done.
And you know how it is too. Even if you just cover a team, when there's exciting stuff going on, right? Like that's a fun place to be. All right.
It's the same with me. Like when the Magic are good, I get caught up in it because I live here and I enjoy it. I want the people who are Magic fans here in Orlando to feel really good about it. And then, crazy night last night.
That was so cool. We're doing the play-by-play. We got to go and jump into those games and do the Des Bane buzzer beater, the Andrew Wiggins buzzer beater, the fake elevator doors for Andrew Wiggins to go back around and get the dunk. I mean, some amazing moments around the NBA last night for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a blast. So and needed wins for Orlando for sure.
All right. SGA, speaking of teams that just keep on winning despite injuries, the only team with just one loss on the season still, SGA not satisfied after winning the 2025 title. It doesn't seem to matter who's in or out for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They just keep winning. Insane point differential right now, plus 13.6. They've got guys stepping up. We've talked about AJ Mitchell in the past. So they've been banged up, but it just hasn't mattered. The Thunder just next man up, next guy in our system, keep on rolling.
Yeah, and Mark Daigneault does such a good job with, okay, I have one big tonight. Great. We'll play four smalls around one. That's how we'll do it. Isaiah Hartenstein went crazy the other night. He had 30-something points and was making a ton of plays. And SGA's there every night. And then it's just been this year with Chet Holmgren in and out of the lineup. Jalen Williams, the wing Jalen Williams, has not played yet. And it's SGA and then just, all right, who's stepping up tonight? And they get somebody, a lot of nights. AJ Mitchell's been that guy. Casey Wallace has been that guy. I mean, just really, really good. And I love this with SGA because the way he put it was, look, we rolled through the regular season, but we did not roll through the playoffs. We had 2 7-game series. And he's like, if we want to be the team that everybody is like, oh my gosh, they're that team, we need to also roll through the playoffs. And that's, it by no means is he like, I don't care about the title, because clearly he cherishes that they won the title. But if I was a Thunder fan, this makes me want to run through a wall right? I'm fired up and ready to go because it's like, this is our best player. The MVP of the league is like, yeah, it's not good enough. We need to be better. We need to do more. I need to do more. Like, let's go. This is why he's the MVP, right? This is how great players are made.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is awesome from SGA. This is what you want to hear from him, that, hey, not good enough. Got to keep pushing. Got to keep going. And this Thunder team, they're going to be set up to be a real problem for a long time here. So they've been absolutely fantastic. And my Lakers see them tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to it as I win any game. But boy, you know you're going to be in for a battle when you play the Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, all the Lakers need to do is tell Luka and Reaves to stay home, and then they'll probably win. I mean, that's just, the way it seems to be going for them this year. Just throw a bunch of randos out there and go get the victory.
The Jake LaRavia 50-point game is coming.
There it is. Oh, man, there it is. Trevor just called the shot. If you don't get it, I'll give you his address. You just email me and I'll send it to you. And how you can go beat him up, punch him in the nose.
All right. Well, everybody, obviously a lot going on around the NBA. The Dallas Mavericks make their move with Nico Harrison. Not unexpected, but nonetheless, they make their move. Nico Harrison on his way out. And a lot of contract stuff, some injuries that we got into today as well. But once again, want to say thank you to everybody who joined us last night for Hawks versus Clippers over on NBA League Pass. And of course, once again, happy Veterans Day. Thank you to all of you who served. Appreciate all of you very, very much. We'll be back at it again later on this week, probably tomorrow. We'll see how the week is looking, but appreciate all of you. Make sure you do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Till next time, see ya and stay safe.